Welcome everyone to the Moisey News for April 9th, 2020. Today I would like to talk about Sheila Oakes, who is the mayor of Hena in Derbyshire, who chose some rather interesting words when asked to comment when others were also commenting on a post concerning the current situation involving Boris Johnson. This was under a Facebook post which was updating everyone on Boris. The original post merely asked for people to support the Prime Minister. Sheila Oakes decided to reply in a somewhat callous manner, although typical for social media, by behaving like a massive cunt. Her reply was, "Sorry, he completely deserves this, and he is one of the worst Prime Ministers we've ever had," which I think is a rather interesting statement, because it's harsh, yes, and hugely inaccurate, because only history will be able to determine if he's the worst or one of the worst. Let's not forget he also won a huge majority, and has barely had a chance to do anything yet. Not least because Parliament basically beat him up until he won the election, and since the election, we've had to deal with the coronavirus, which has, in essence, stopped everything and will undoubtedly take us back a few steps. Now, unless this comment is based on past jobs and scandals, I don't really understand her point. I do in that context, but I still think it's invalid. And to be honest, his previous scandals, comments towards certain groups of individuals, the bin liner one or the postbox one, whatever it is, yes, interesting, should have no bearing on him as Prime Minister because his actions as Prime Minister should speak for themselves. I would like you now to all take a wild guess which party Sheila Oakes is a member of. While there is intolerance within all parties towards those who differ from them, we have yet to hear any from the other side of this, as often as this side, Sheila's side. Now that could be because of who owns the media, or it could just be because many are clever enough to keep it in their gentlemen's clubs when they're busy oik hunting. You're all right, yes, she is Labour, so there are consequences. What are the consequences? She has had her whip withdrawn, which means she is no longer a councillor. Since this, there is also another consequence. The Amber Valley Labour group are going to be conducting an investigation into Sheila's conduct, with the leader of the Amber Valley Labour group saying that this behaviour is totally unacceptable and not what the Labour Party are about. Press X to doubt. I've not made the comments, but I feel as leader of the Labour group, I have to apologise as well as to Boris Johnson and his family, and we wish him well because we need everyone possible to fight this disease. I know I said press X to doubt, but I for the most part do understand and accept that the majority of Labour Party members are not like Sheila Oakes, who has since offered an apology, saying she apologised for upsetting people and saying it, telling the BBC that, "I didn't think what I said would upset so many people. It came across as a not nice thing to say. I'm concerned about nurses and doctors who don't have protective equipment. I said something when I was angry without thinking about the Prime Minister or his family. What would have been simpler for you to say, Sheila Oakes, would have simply been, to Boris Johnson, I'm sorry." Adding all the additional bump you've added into this apology weakens your apology. It is pretty bad. So perhaps now that we've got the weak apology out of the way, we should update everyone on the situation with Boris. Boris Johnson is no longer on oxygen, is sitting up in bed and improving while in intensive care. And I, like anyone else, would wish anyone who is currently suffering this the best, regardless of who they are. Today the government is going to conduct its first review into the lockdown. It is highly likely, because of Boris being in hospital, that the lockdown will be extended. 3 more weeks, everyone, at least. I've noticed gigs, concerts and other such things, including things like darts, with claims they're going to restart in July or November. I am sceptical of this. But of course, I can hope for the best, can't I? I'm sure many people have suffered at the hands of this discomfort this has caused a lot of people. Sorry about that. Not my fault this time, though, is it? My presidential campaign appears to be stymied by some virus. Yes, not impressed. With what has happened with Sheila Oakes, I'm very much interested to know what you all think. What do you think the punishment should be? She's lost the whip. She's still mayor, but she's lost the whip. She may well get expelled by the party and could in fact be taken out of her spot as mayor. But I want to know what you think about whether or not any of it is enough, too much, or what you think should happen instead. After all, it is just words. In reality, and this is my opinion on it, While it is distasteful to air an opinion as such, even in the heat of the moment, she's well within her right to say it. I think when we start to legitimise hate speech, which I think is where this is going, we run a very serious risk of saying to many, you can't say that cause, and then insert person here. I hope what I've done before coming to my own opinion on the subject is present the facts as they are, based on current societal norms. My view is she shouldn't be punished. Better have her say, because inevitably she'll lose her seat regardless. There are consequences down the line, and honestly, it's unlikely she'd keep her spot regardless. But regardless of that, I'm still interested to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comments down below.